It's kind of crazy. It's been over 9 years, nearly 10 since I made the first Dyno film. I had always wanted to make a video back in the day, and I'd always filmed and gave my footage to other people, or at the time I just never ended up making something for myself. For me, I thought the name Dynovfr would kind of be suitable because back in the day, the Dynovfr was like the local neighborhood bike that everybody had. And I remember I was like bugging my dad to get one for so long, and then I finally ended up getting a dyno, but it ended up being a Dyno Air, which had mags and it was chrome and it was cool. So didn't get the Dynovfr, got the Dyno Air. So in a way, I wanted to do with the video, like this was my Dynovfr, this was my video I never got to make, the bike I never got to have. As stupid as that sounds, it's just like, it kind of hit in my head, and I thought it would just be funny to name your like rollerblading video after a bike. It's always funny like when people are asking like, hey, what's your YouTube, and you type it in and they're just like, what? Like the BMX? Like, but now people are typing in and we're actually popping up, which is kind of sick. Essentially named after a BMX bike, and I just kind of rolled with it. Chuck, move. I still didn't have a camera. I was filming on a GL2 for most of my life, and I got a VX 2000 for a little bit. It didn't end up working for very long. And then I was just kind of without a camera for a while, or I would just use somebody else's. And around this time, like, the iPhone had come out with like a video camera that was like so-so, but the main like catalyst for all this was they made a lens. The skateboard company called Death Lens made a lens sort of camera, and it just, when I got it as like, you know, just film some stuff and have it like, you know, for whatever. But when we actually like took it out for the test drive, it was like, oh, you know, why is this so like wide? Why is this like so easy to film with? Because, you know, especially in the early 2000s, to be able to film, you needed a GL or a VX or better. And then you would have to have a camera bag with all your heavy batteries, with all your tapes. And then not only that, you had to hold your fisheye lens, which was heavy to begin with. So you needed a big bag just to have all your gear with. And with the phone, it's like you have this screw-on fisheye that has a lens cap on it, fits in the pocket, phone slides in the pocket. So it's just like, you don't need no bag. It's just easily accessible, and honestly, it's just it was a lot more convenient to film. And I was always like complaining because I always said like if I had this in 2002, 2003, we would have had so many videos made back then, like within days, because the accessibility of not having to capture your tape and go through footage and log it, that was a very big thing back in the day, and it took so much time. And now you literally plug it to your computer, or not even plug it to your computer, you just airdrop all the files to it and it comes right onto there. So with this, it was, I could film with this fisheye, like make it look kind of okay, and like my only concern was, you know, long lens, but I figured out that on the camera you can actually kind of zoom. You could lock the focus and exposure and kind of have like a decent looking image. And so I just kind of gave it a go, and through that time we ended up filming for the whole year. I was skating Fifth Elements because I really wanted to challenge myself, and at the time I was just done skating the NIMS, and I didn't I feel like this is I did not know what to skate, and I just got a pair of these way too small Fifth Elements, but I had truss liners that back in the day, truss liners were like the original Intuition liners. You could fit pretty much any kind of skate you wanted to with those. And they made the red Fifth Elements like a size 8.5 on my size 11 foot work pretty well. And I ended up breaking them midway through filming, but I was so like enamored with how good the Fifth Element was feeling that I bought a pair of black ones, which they only made, I think, in 98 or 99. I'm not sure, maybe 98. But I bought them from France, actually, and got them shipped over here. And actually had them with me when I broke the other skates, so it was like kind of like a blessing in disguise. Like when I bought them, they ended up working really well. And you know, it was more so, it's like, does the skate matter? Like, could those dudes back in the day, was it a technicality thing, or like were the parts just not good enough? And the answer was like, you could pretty much do any kind of trick you want in any kind of skate, and this proves it. And they were actually really good for front fives and front torques, and the only downside was they were a little slow on little things, and maybe like the sole plate was a little too small, but I really didn't have too much of an issue. The buckles broke and everything, but I'm blabbing off about my skates, but I'm going to do a director's commentary with this. So, without further ado, I edited some of the audio in here so I can actually play it on here. So, until further ado, on 3, 2, 1. And this is reminding me of like the old ABC commercials back in the day where, you know, it would be like the $1 Million Movie. So it was like, hey, this is my little ode to late night TV watchers, so to say. This is one of my trips to Doylestown. I just shot that along on the train ride. This is actually filmed in Mini Baldy. That was Nick on South Street before he did his little hockey solo. So this spot's actually gone right off the bat. They covered it up with fences and everything, but you saw that in a lot of films later on in the day. That blue route was at an abandoned spot. It's also gone. This spot's completely different. It's actually wild. The first 3 spots are completely different. That's still there. That's in Allentown. That's a cool little spot, and there's still actually a lot more you can do there, which you'll see some in this video. That's the Maniac when it was brand new. Tone Marchione, movie star. There's J. Timms. That's actually so sick. Those banks are like so steep in real life. Matt Capacete. There's the Fifth Elements in action. I was so hyping up. There's Nick and his great Nims. I don't know how he skated those for so long. And he skated them with like 2 different soul plates for so long that I don't even think they were like the same version of soul plates, which is even funnier. He died on F85. Here's the impromptu SK section. So at the time, he was living in Kansas City and he was transitioning his way to come back here. And he luckily got a few clips of me for this video. Here's Nick on South Street. People were looking at him like he was absolutely insane when he was doing this. This guy watched a lot of hockey at this time. And can we talk about this stick work right here? The man thought he was Mario Lemieux. He's looking like Ty Domi a little bit right now. And if you don't know who Ty Domi is, exactly. Now, we used to play roller hockey back at Rizzo, and I don't remember Nick. I think Nick came maybe 1 or 2 times, but I'm pretty sure he got destroyed every single time he went there.
Very good.
And here's actually exactly where I broke my Fifth Elements too. Had them luckily in the car with me because I just bought them like not too long ago. I remember I was skating with like a mix of like Kryptonics and like bigger wheels at the same time. So right there I did alley while the roll. You can't really tell because of the HD quality back then. Although it's a little bit up to 4K. I almost got hit by a car right there. Almost got smoked. Don't ever scan the traffic. That spot I always want to cab into and do a wall ride, but I just never got back into doing it. Damn, I went a little too fast paced to clips here. That's impossible to alley fish. For me, at least. My alley sidewalk, terrible. That was in the blistering cold. It was like -3. That spot's capped now. Cool thing about mini baldy, which is what this spot is right here, is that could actually be like kind of good if you rub brick that a lot. I rub bricked it a little bit to make it work like that, but we went back later for Dynovfr for Nick to jump over the fence. Another rest in peace Wilmington spot. Always loved that manual pad. That was just a random thing we found while driving through Upper Darby. It just happened to be like perfectly set up for it. There's a ditch near Nick's house that we always go to. This spot I always thought would be like one of the best spots that we ever had, but you'd always get kicked out, but it's just not that fun. The material's a little bit rough and the ledge is really good, but just like it's a lot of hassle to try to skate there. Plus you have to like go into a parking lot where they can see you everywhere. Knees are capped now too. I was proud of this because you see real close the piece of wood as I'm going up there actually kicks up and you can see it pull out, so somehow my wheel rolled over that and I still launched off it and was able to spin, because I wanted to like launch a fakie 5 and like stale, because like, you know, no grab kind of fakie 3 is a little bit weak, but the way that thing was set up and how it shot you, and it was so quick and so sudden, and the way the wooden planks just like came out of the socket, it just like, it was sketchy, and I was completely okay with that. It's like getting a 2-piece on that, like a grind and that is just like so worth it to me. So whatever. Here's the first time we actually went to the pit. So we had looked up these spots, and this is like a funny thing. Like you look up these spots where they are, and you don't know what you're looking for. And this is back when, like, we had pretty much skated everywhere in the city, but this is when we were like looking for every little def and crack, and like Google Maps was like kind of becoming big to where you can like just search around and look for stuff. And when we found this spot, it was just like hidden directly. Like we saw like a little concrete to gap over. We're like, all right, there's something there. Go in there, and then we ended up skating in there, and then we got this stuff, and it was to start off the montage. And I'm just happy that Capacete got what he got, giving me the best fish brain on Chester Ledge. And then the first turnaround line, hitting the spot. Give you a little 180 right there. Yup. With the safari hat. Yup. With the Baileys. Yup. Look how good that skate looks. I'm surprised they never made like a hard boot shell in that color, with like that accent with the red with the brown around it, or the red with the black around it. Killed. It's funny, somebody actually sandblasted that spot not too long ago. Imagine like wasting your time for that. I like this line. Cap always had a good true soul. Tyler. Death. Tyler had those skates too. Good looking skate. That was the old Ethan Brown. We went back there for Dynovfr. There's Eddie B. Yeah, we drove by that spot not too long ago, and it's such a weird, like, why did they put the rail in the middle of the stair set like that? There's absolutely no reason for it. Oh, this is so sick. Let's nominate a guy to skate more. Gonna be this guy. This guy. Oh, that's so sick. The Lancaster spot. That was so deaf. I believe this starts Nick's part. Oh no, there's the best gang run ever. This is the best park trick I ever did in my life. Wow, rest in peace, FDR mini ramp. Anybody ever skated the old metal mini ramp? There was nothing like it. You would fall and get so hurt on it, but it was so worth it because it was so perfect in every way. It like launched you up so high when you would boost for no reason. It made the parks, like the non-park skater in me, feel like I was like in aggressive inline for a little bit. Now here's Nick's little old school clips, which you see he's throwing the Biggie 5 like he just was. Kind of sick. A little New York action because that's where he's from. These are the early clips for Dyno too. Remember, I was unsure like how the footage would look, and it's still a little shaky if you can see in the corners because you had to rock it without any stabilization, and you had to actually rock the fisheye in an external app. And the whole thing with that is it only filmed in 30. So when you would slow-mo stuff, you would get the jittery, or if you put the stabilizer on, it would get really jittery. It's like crazy though. I always loved how like this footage looked compared to like the later iPhone footage that I had. Like this lens was like perfectly set up for the frame, like the sensor was perfect for the lens, and the later lenses like were a little too wide. And I actually have a couple fisheye shots that are in here with the tighter move, but it kind of reminded me of like when the HVX fisheye came out, where it had the super bubble where it completely took up everything. These are the random Allentown spots you got. Look at the little no grab Lou. Far side split. I still know the video. And like all these songs I was just like in GarageBand not knowing what I'm doing and like trying to make something that like would emulate like a, you know, an ambient kind of sound to go with the skating, like to where you're watching the skating, you're just letting that kind of like work together with it. And I remember I like showed him the idea of what I had, and he was just like, you know what, just do what you do. He had faith in me, let's say. I feel like that's like the ultimate compliment. It's like you can just, you know, like somebody just like they know what you're going to do. That 360 is absolutely insane. That spot's completely gone too, but the way he took it up and like rode off it, he died so many times trying it. It's crazy how much the spots changed too. Oh, he died. I remember I was unsure if I was going to put this in here because it was just like a lot of rolling, but I felt like it like showcased kind of like what we like to see. It's like, you know, he just aired off it, but he was taking a hill bomb, and like sometimes that's the most fun part of skating is when you have your skates on and you're just going fast down a hill off of something, or like feeling the air with you, and just like I wanted to be right next to him to kind of like show how fast he was going and like the whole ride. But it's funny he actually went back to these skates now. This, I don't know if it's the exact pair, but that was insane. If you ever been to that spot, it's not possible. He's a 360 porn star. I know this. actually hit the lens on the ledge with that one. Now this is the trick of doom. So this is actually Super Bowl Sunday, and he always wanted to do this. He always was pushing to go to this spot, and this is one of those times where sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And he wanted to basically charge down it's like a snake run kind of deal and launch, but he wanted to launch a little bit past where that Bondo is, and he wanted to roll down the crack through the mud part. But the problem was, every single time he went and hit that mud thing, he put his wheels deeper and deeper into the hole. So no matter what he did, he was going so much downforce with the toes that he was going to go into that and like take it, and one of his foot was going to wow out. And he hit, I want to say like 12 times on his shoulder or his back and his knees and everything, and he was just bleeding everywhere. And he got, I don't even think he ended up getting a good one. He got like an okay one, but like, I'll never forget like thinking like, should I just tell him to stop? Because he was launching so high and so far, and you had to land past the one crack, because otherwise it just looked like he was doing like a weak whatever, like a weak little hip air, and it wouldn't look as cool. The way he was launching it though, he was launching so far out, and he just took it and took one for the team. And I thought it was a suitable way to end the video, because, you know, at this point we thought we were quote unquote old men, and we were probably in like our late 20s and early 30s, and looking back now, it's just like, this is just the start.